Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your time. Welcome to the Rapyder webinar. Thanks for sparing time. I know it's a tough situation with so much of public healthcare scare, personal crisis for many families. We are rooted to our homes, and what all magic the screen can bring, we are limited to it. But I'm sure we are also having fun with amazing series like Charles Shobraj on Netflix. When we are toggling between coding, scripting, or customer calls, sometimes it is fun to slip into Netflix mode also. So similarly, I think these webinars also bring that spice, variety in your screen time. My name is Avinash Kulkarni. I work for Rapyder Cloud Solutions. We are a 4.5-year-old focused premier consulting partner for AWS, Amazon Web Services. We are based in Bangalore. So today's seminar is all about the buzzwords. I think there are many seminars speaking about AI, ML, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also voice biometrics or speech technologies. This is an emerging field, so we thought we should take this to the industry, speak about use cases, speak about adoption. So Rapyder specializes on cloud migration, specializes on DevOps, application modernization, many other services, purely focused on helping customers adopt to the cloud, bring in more SaaS solutions if you are an ISV, and help you reach a wider customer audience. So you can read about us more, and you can also look up on YouTube channels for managed services and other interesting videos. So wherever the cloud journey, think of us. So today we have 4 eminent panelists. These are their names. The first one to speak will be Mr. Anant Nagaraj, who is the founder CTO of a very hot startup called as Gnani.ai, which is a voice biometrics, speech to text, speech technologies startup funded by Samsung Ventures, based in Bangalore with a lot of clients. Next will be Shankar Ramaswamy, who is the managing director for Indian operations of another startup called a Singular Key. Singular Key is a US-based product company. They look at passwordless world, or where we are deliberately asked to forget about our passwords, just use voice or finger or any of the biometric access for single sign-on. So Shankar will be the next speaker. We have given 5 minutes to each speaker, so that's the format. And third will be Mr. Rajiv Kumar, who is a senior partner success solution architect from AWS, our principal OEM partner. And he'll speak about a unique case study, and he'll take you through what is the platform readiness from AWS. And fourth will be my friend Shaji Pulukol from Rapyder. He's our solutions director, and is also the lead person for us to build a practice on AI, ML, and big data analytics. And the structure of the program, as I said, is 5 minutes to each speaker. We just kept it very crisp and simple. After the 4 slots, which should take about next 20-22 minutes, we will have a round of Q&A from the audience. We would like to hear from you. You can use the chat box or the Q&A box there to type in your questions. We'll select some of the questions and put to the panelists and look at getting some answers from them. And if your question doesn't get selected, please don't be disheartened. You'll get a written reply from Rapyder team. We'll be in touch with you. And we'll also administer a 4-question poll, just a quick feedback, a quick electronic feedback compared to the erstwhile pre-COVID era, when we would meet in probably 3-star, 5-star hotels and a lot of freebies and a small form. Sir, please just bhar dijiye last. So the same structure, just electronic now. So I welcome Anant Nagaraj, the first speaker, to present his views about voice biometrics and speech technologies. Over to you, Anant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The control, yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So let me just pull up a different screen. Hi all. This is Anant. I'm co-founder, CTO at Gnani.ai. Thanks, Avinash, for having me here. What I would want to do is quickly run a demo, which is about 1 minute to 2 minutes, and talk about our solutions, how Gnani is automating the whole customer experience in an omni-channel. So I'll quickly run through this demo. As we talk, this is like showcasing our technology across omni-channel with voice also as a key thing. Hi, this is Anant. I'm enrolling for voice verification services. So like I'm just trying to enroll myself as a secondary factor of authentication on a mode like WhatsApp, and I'll go ahead and book a service. You can converse with the bot. Just book an appointment for contact lens at Dallas Center tomorrow, 2 p.m. So text. ನಾನು अनंत मेरा वॉइस को वेरीफाई करके एनरोल कर दीजिए. So again showing voice biometric. Typically voice biometric was multi long sentences, long statements. We brought it down to sub 2 seconds. Authentication, language independent, text independent, enrollment, and payment link for me to just go pay. I'll do a payment online. I mean a complete thing, and let me just proceed to pay. Put my card details. Pay. And since this payment is done, my appointment is confirmed. Now let me take this into another mode where I'll call the. Okay, sorry about this. Okay, it's not matter. So I see on my calendar. Now let me call our bot to test how does it behave. This is like a complete voice AI now.
Hi, I can assist you with appointments and the care services we offer. How can I assist you?
I wanted to reschedule my appointment.
What time would you like to come in?
How about today 7 p.m. in the evening?
Your appointment is already scheduled on May 28, 2021 at 2 p.m. in Dallas City Center for contact lens. Do you wish to reschedule?
Yes, please.
Your appointment is scheduled on May 27, 2021, 7 p.m. in Dallas City Center for contact lens. Is there anything I can help you with?
What all services do you offer?
We offer cataract services, contact lenses, glaucoma services. Is there anything I can help you with?
No, thank you. So essentially what I did is I did a integration of our system across channels. A bot that was primarily driven on WhatsApp then went into a phone call, and I did a simple test in the interest of time to move the appointment, which was at tomorrow, to today through voice. So at the entire journey, what as a company that we have developed is core AI products that includes, let me open our slide deck. So essentially the core solution that we have on speech technology, NLP solutions along with voice biometric. Here to showcase the solution, we brought in voice biometric as one of the key things for verification. We have speech engines that and NLU engines that understood what I said. And I was able to move an appointment. It understood an appointment. It went and looked up in the calendar plus CRM to know what my appointment was, and it was able to do it. As a company, Nani has been working in the NLP and the voice AI space for last 4.5 years. Our products are what we call as Assess 365. It is a omni-channel, multi-faceted omni-channel system which can help you to do product recommendations, inbound customer support, outbound such as lead generation, CSAT surveys, etc. All driven through voice first approach, but can go on any channel like WhatsApp, web, etc. We also have an analytics product where we put the entire AI in play, where we mine information of your customer interactions across channels. It could be on telephony line, it could be across social media handles, what is the, or on emails, what is the detailed interaction that happens between your end customer and your support teams, or what is the feeling that your customers are writing on your social media platforms, etc., and give deep insights of what is being happening. And you have all of this data available onto your business intelligence tool or on a dashboard, and it is readily integrated to most of the CRMs that are there out in the world. The other thing is voice biometric, a thing that we are like, which we launched and recently. Typically, the voice biometric scene was such that you need a long audio, or you needed the passphrase like "my voice is my password" sort of phrase. We removed the complete dependency of language and text, and you just need around 3 to 4 seconds of enrollment time and sub 2 seconds of audio for verification. These are the things that we have been working on, and our solutions have been used across industries for various use cases. Anywhere if you have any customer related use cases or customer support, we act as our first level of automation, plus also provide deep insights into what is happening in your systems. So thank you all again for your time. Avinash, over to you. If you have any questions, do drop me a note. I'll take it during the.
Sure, Anant. I'm sure you get questions like, is really human voice unique for every human identity? Can that be a part of identity? And you can answer this, or maybe we'll ask the audience to post these questions later. I mean, there's some unique questions, right? I mean, is my voice really unique? And second is, yes. What if I have a cold? I have a cold or a sore throat.
Yeah. So I can answer it now, Avinash. So essentially, yes, your voice is unique, and we have complex algorithms that can model and understand how you behave, or how does your voice spectrum changes when you have cold or sore throat, or it does not have to be cold or sore throat. If you pop in a dolo or something like that, your voice will change. So how do you handle such scenarios? So we have algorithms that are built against such use cases, and also what if there is a background noise of one more human speaker coming in as evident as my voice is. So how do you handle such scenarios? These are something that we have been innovating. We have multiple patents around this, and this is something that we have been doing for the last few years.
Fantastic. It's a very interesting field, so I'll request the audience to think of questions and frame your questions. We'll take those. So Shankar, is your slide deck visible, or is it the Rapyder one which has come up?
Rapyder one has come up.
Okay, one second. Okay, now?
No, not that. It's still the Rapyder one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this fine now?
Yep. So
okay.
In continuation to what Anand said, let me do a little quick introduction about myself. I'm Shankar, representing Singularity. As one of the factors, today's major challenges. You can move to the next slide. So the major challenges that we are facing is a lot of frauds around OTPs. Why we are coming up with all the AML is trying to reduce give a layered approach around how we could reduce the frauds that's happening. SMS being stolen, all of these factors. So we use unique identifiers like voice and all those things. So one of the other technologies that comes where we could probably reduce fraud is next slide. Where this reduction of fraud is and give those seamless customer experience per se. Avinash, next slide.
Okay.
where we could eliminate those frauds around. We could bring those scalable, and reliable, cost-effective, as easy as the use of SMS OTP. And it should be omni-channel, right? Like omni-channel. When I say it's like all the devices, be it the Android, trusted by the browsers, be it the iOS or your Windows. That's where a new standard is common, where we kind of provide a passwordless experience, and based on this PKI per se. The backbone is cryptology, where digital signatures have kind of proved the fact that they are the most strong form of authentication. So it can be as an additional, you can do device binding. Avinash, next slide. So where it's regulatory standards being compliant with the NIST guidelines has come in. In India, we have the CCA under Ministry of IT accepting this as one of the alternative to SMS OTP. So the basic behind this is a strong PKI backbone, which creates this public key, private key, and doesn't store anything on your on the database where passwords are stored. So giving us a pure decentralized authentication where FIDO, as the name says, fast identity online, provides a stronger authentication for giving a complete passwordless experience. Next slide. So how does this FIDO work? The FIDO basically is a cryptology. So there are keys that get generated on your device, and basis of these keys, the authentication happens. So there is something that we know, something that you have that is you to your device. It can be your PIN password, which is there, which is more secure, and or a voice can be there, and then the device to the server is a PKI. So at the server end, basically the keys, the public key is stored across. So no passwords are shared, nothing is shared. The keys are stored in your TPS, which is your strong point within the device, or a secure area within the device where the keys are stored. So reducing, account takeover frauds, man in the middle attack, all of these. Where today your mobile becomes your more a mobile or a laptop, or which becomes your center of the entire activity. So given that you kind of generate these keys onto your device and start the process of authentication. Next slide. So how it works? So there are the FIDO basically has a two-step process. One, you register. At the time of registration, what happens is once we've identified the user, it is Shankar who is coming on board. You have the registration process of generation of the keys. So when we register, you register your keys onto your device. The public key, private key gets generated onto your device, and the public key is stored at the server. So each time when you authenticate, it authenticates against the public key which is shared. As the name suggests, it's public, it's open to everybody. So there are no sharing of secrets or something. This is an open standard, and people can it's a public, so you can actually take it and do nothing out of it. The private key is the most important part, and which is stored inside your device, and it allows the authentication to happen. Without the private key, you can't do anything. So it reduces all the frauds around sharing of secrets, remembering of passwords. All of these functions can be reduced. Next slide. So, and again, Avinash, next slide. So where we come in is these are industry approved standards. The major three OS, the Windows, the Mac, the Android. The three major OSs have come together to set up this. Major browsers have started using this particular technology. So whenever you kind of want to get a passwordless experience as a second factor, or a completely passwordless experience across all your apps, this could be one of the solutions which will solve your problem. So in a summary, when I would say this is a cryptology based solution where the key stays in the devices, there are no shared secrets across, you save the password, nothing of those kinds are shared. These are open standards, and we use the device biometric, so nothing leaves your device. It meets all your privacy, all of those angles, with giving you a more secure story across. So that's a nutshell of this, where we bring in as a strong authentication in addition to what you are currently using. So reduce the challenges around SMS, OTP, delivery of SMS, All of these functions is where we would want to address the today's needs, the ever changing and the digital transformation across. Thank you, Avinash.
Yeah, great, Shankar. Thanks
Yep.
for the crisp presentation on this. So single sign-on and SAML authentication, those kind of environment that lends itself very well to your solutions.
Yep. Yes, it very much lends in. So wherein you will be integrating using single sign-on, REST API, all of these functions to authenticate, add into the as additional authentications for your system.
Great. So people, I think, should be definitely using this because we see a lot of data breaches, right? A major restaurant chain, banks, credit
Yep.
card company. Okay, great. So we go
So
over next.
that's
Yeah. Okay, Shankar. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
can finish.
that's the where especially with the sharing of secrets, where which comes in the especially you would have all those jamtaras which are there where people started sharing those OTPs across. This could be additional where those kind of frauds can be reduced. Where even if you share your passwords, nothing would go across because end of the day there is something that you have to authenticate yourself into the system. Over to
Great.
you.
Yeah. Thanks, Shankar. So you also brought in Jamtara. Jamtara is again a notable TV series on Netflix. If you have not seen
Yep.
it, just promoting entertainment here. I'm not from Netflix. I would like to remind that I'm from Rapyder. Okay, Rajiv Kumar is our partner success manager, solution architect from AWS. Over to you, Rajiv.
Hey, thank you, Avinash, and hope you're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rajiv Kumar. I'm Senior Partner Solution Architect working with AWS. And today I'm going to present a case, which is one of the customer, More Retail Limited, on automated ordering system, where they move ahead, build and forecasting system, and also integrated with their Oracle order management system to have an automated ordering system for their store for their hundreds of store across the country. So this particular customer having a wide network of 22 hypermarkets, 624 supermarkets, and also have an integration with the supply chain of 13 distribution centers. So the objective of this customer is to provide the high quality product at the right economic value while keeping all the demand satisfied from the customer and also keeping the operation cost at minimum. Right, so they had in their ordering system, which is a manual based forecasting system at an individual store level, which is error prone and not accurate, which is leading to a lot of issues and trouble for this organization. And they finally tried the ML services offered by AWS, especially the Amazon forecast, to build the forecasting system and automated ordering system. So I'll take you through within few minutes, the next few minutes. So if you see the fresh produce category, this is little complicated because the fresh product lifestyle, fresh product shelf life is really low, right? So for that, it add to the complication of managing the right quantity of the product at the individual store level. And this is basically a manual exercise done by the store manager, which is time consuming and also a lot of complication around, and some of the key constraints are missed during those calculations like seasonality, extended weekend and promotion, etc. And because this is at the best of the time seen that those manual forecasting offered 40% as the best of the time accuracy, which is not enough, which is leading to a lot of problem for the customer, like over forecasting and under forecasting. So in case of over forecasting, customer stores end up selling stale products and of course the overripe products, and also a lot of wastage is thrown away, which they call shrinkage. And same with the similar with the under forecasting, where the product is out of stock, which resulting in the customer dissatisfaction. And they have seen the cases where the key item missing in the store, the customer abandon the entire cart because they don't want to wait into the queue for the handful of the product where the key product are missing. So they better thought of discarding the entire cart, and that is something customers see as a losing the business on. So this particular problem, the customer wanted to solve using the advanced machine learning technologies, and tried our Amazon forecast as one of these service offering which we offer on AWS Cloud. So the customer broken down this problem into the two parts. First is the forecasting demand for each store SKU combination. So the customer anticipated greater than 6,000 SKU combinations, right, can be estimated at the individual store level. And that definitely, right, their manual forecasting model is not working in that similar lines, and that's a pretty complicated, and not considering the lot of constraints which can be considered in the machine learning model. And also finally, once they know the projected sales, right, and the individual SKU combination can be targeted at a given day plus two, right, plus 2 days, they can calculate the order quantity, which they call the intents. Right, and once they have the sales estimate through the Amazon forecast, they can look out into the ordering quantity, right, which is basically influenced by the opening stock and closing stock, and as well as what is the shrinkage they have in the given day, right. And once they have the ordering quantity, they can integrate automatically. They can integrate with their Oracle system to automatically generate order without any manual interventions. So I talk about the Amazon forecast. Let me take you through what is exactly the Amazon forecast is and what are the typical use cases can be. So the Amazon forecast is a fully managed service that uses machine learning to deliver highly accurate forecasted. What could be the possible use cases? The first is the product, the key use cases. First is the product demand planning. This is a typical use case we are discussing here, where historic data of sales or the timeline data of historic sales can be put into the data warehouse, where we can apply machine learning algorithm, applying the constraint as a seasonality, promotion, and extended weekend or government or public holidays, to come up with the projected sales. All the inventory stocks should be available at an individual store level. Right. The second typical use case can be for the financial planning for the financial institutes, where they can predict the revenue, cost, or cash flows for the future. Right. And the third can be for the manufacturing organization. Where they can plan resource in the form of raw material as well as the human resources to maintain the typical production quantity they want to produce as a given period of time. So I want to take you through how we are able to solve this business problem using the technology. I don't want to get into detail of this architecture because it is little technical, but I just want to give you the gist about how we approach this problem and able to solve this. So all the historical demand data we put into the Amazon Redshift. Amazon Redshift on AWS is data warehousing solution where we have all the data, which is on top of it. We have the Python scripts running, which is running on EC2, which are our virtual instances, which is basically performing the data wrangling task, which means data cleaning, removing the outliers, and also massaging the data in a certain format that is required to perform certain analysis by the Amazon forecast. And we put into the S3 source bucket, which is an object storage, from where it is being picked by Amazon forecast, which apply the deep AR plus algorithm to generate the forecast, and that forecast is put into again in the object storage, which is Amazon S3. Now, once the this data is put into the Amazon S3, it is being picked again by the Python script in EC2, right, running on the EC2, and then they again perform certain calculation to find out the intent. Intent is the order quantity that need to be generated at individual store level, and that it's sent to the Oracle ERP system. This is an automated system where the order is getting generated, right? And this is done through the simple SFTP and the email notification. Once the order is generated at Oracle ERP system, this order information is again fed back to the Amazon Redshift, which is the data warehousing solution for the future needs. So what are the actual business benefit customer able to realize? Let me quickly take you through. So because of Amazon forecast, the customer was able to predict the SKU sales stock keeping unit forecasting accuracy increased from 24% to 76%. which customers seen as a good accuracy to be forecasted. And because of the high accuracy, they largely go away. They are largely away from the issues of under forecasting and over forecasting of the product, right? And that basically result in reduction of the wastages by 30% in the fresh product category. And also their in-stock rates improve from 80% to 90%. That increase the overall sales, and also the higher the customer experience. And at the end, they have seen the increased gross profit by 25%. So that's it, guys. I would be available for Q&A session whenever there it would be, or at that point of time also. And I would hand it back over to Avinash.
Thank you, Rajay. So I think a significant point there is that this is a very tangible solution with a return on investment. 30% reduction in food wastage or fresh produce is a great thing, because I think as a nation there is a significant percentage put on the wastage which we do, especially on the Food Corporation of India stocks. Raju, I also heard that AI/ML solutions from AWS can also help manufacturing and retail companies to ensure COVID appropriate behavior is displayed by employees. Is that true?
Yes. So we have a service recognition, right, which is we're going up with implicit behavior recognition, right, within that particular service that can be directly applied to the final product, can be used as a service.
Okay, great. So this solution cuts wide across. So for the audience, we have been trying to just mix different use cases: retail, manufacturing, banking, insurance. So the last presenter is Shaji from Rapyder. Over to you, Shaji.
Hi, just want a quick check. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible, visible also. Slides are look. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Avinash, and thanks, Rajiv. I mean, it's just like a wonderful presentation, right? How exactly an industry is being picked up on a AI/ML-based solution. So I'm Shaji Pulukul. I join as a solution director with Rapyder. So some simple use case which I wanted to bring up is just trying to get my okay. So we speak to get a more crowd puller. It has been an AI/ML adoption, or if you get any AI/ML kind of a scenario being projected, we get a lot of attention. But some of the real-time consulting solutions what we provide, or when we go for doing it, the biggest thought process that comes in many of the CXOs' mind is AI/ML right fit for my business? Am I doing a right thing by adopting it? Is my business value, is there an addition when I go for an AI/ML kind of a solution? How much do I have to invest on the skills, right? So right now my all my resource skills that I have are normal developers in terms of Python, Java, or any of those developers. Can I yield a better benefit moving on to an AI/ML sort of a solution? Is there a benefit out of it? Next one is also the same proposition. It's will my team be actually ready for this moment, right, or that adoption to an AI/ML? And the final thing, return on investment. If I invest on this all solutions or whatever you're talking about in terms of AI/ML, what's my ROI at the end of it, right? So these are the kind of common issues and all those things coming up with some of the leading startup or CEOs, all those minds, right? So what I wanted to project out over here is a simple solution, which is fresh to home. Most of them might be knowing they are across the, I think Asia. They are providing service recently, so they are nothing but an unorganized sector. How exactly their innovation brought in, and they were able to scale into this massive level using an AI kind of technology. And that's exactly what the projection I want to do over here. So right now, revenue of 1,500 crores, that's exactly kind of revenue. Customer base, 1 million plus customer base. And they have catering an order of maybe 1.5 million per month, right? How exactly, or what was the traditional business problem for fresh to home, and how AI-based solution helped them to scale up to this massive extent? I mean, that's the two-liner I just want to bring in front of you guys. So business problem, basically what existed was the CEO or COO of the company, which is Matthew, I believe. So he was controlling the entire bidding process. So what happens is, early morning, 4 o'clock, the fisherman or a bidder, actually walks into the coast, and then they do a bidding process for the fish. And what they need to do is they need to call up the CEO of the organization and telling that, okay, I'm getting my fish for a price of 400 for 1 kg or whatever is the limit. Do I need to do an approval over here? I mean, can I take an approval or can I buy this, right? So he has to handle out n number of different calls from different parts of the world. So he's actually dealing with 100 plus fishermen spread across 50 plus coasts, right? So that's the kind of call frequency. So it comes from UAE, it comes from many other Middle East. Also, he had to cater to some customer, some fisherman who is handling these kind of calls from maybe Chennai, maybe from Bangalore, or from different other part of the country, right? So this turned out to be a very, very rigid kind of a business scenario for Fresh to Home. And but with this, they will not be able to scale it, right? One single guy who's going to take a control on making a decision whether I should be bidding a fish or not. So how did they solve this problem? A simple AI-based solution. So what exactly they did is they created an app in place. So the moment you take a picture of that particular fish and then feed in an amount for that particular fish, that app is intelligent enough to go and say, okay, this particular fish with its size and breadth, I would think, and the cost is being, or the price is being fed by the farmer or the fisherman over there, right? So the moment he fed in this amount, so you can see over here, this might be a slightly smaller one, and the amount for that particular fish has been bid as 250. It's all cooked up number I'm putting over here, right? And then immediately it's going to get a millisecond response back to it, telling that no, that's not a bid amount. We at Fresh to Home do not want to buy that, right? And next one happens maybe in Chennai. That's what happened. In parallelly across the multiple location is what we are talking about. In Mumbai, exactly the similar kind of bid is happening, and there the bidder is come back and say, okay, for 200 rupees, I'm going to get this fish, and based on the past data that is being collected by Fresh to Home, it's going to collect it. It's going to do some sort of a data massaging, and it's going to come back with the result and say, yes, that's a better product for you to buy it. Go ahead with the buying. So because of these kind of a scale, they have close to 1,500 fishermen currently, and it's been spread across 120 different costs, right? So that's where how the scale with which they are working out. And this solution has allowed them to come from an unorganized sector, which has been controlling this fish kind of a market, with much more organized, and they were able to get up more than 1 million customers and grown a revenue of 1,500 crores in this year. I mean, that's how exactly their expansion did. So these kind of an ecosystem to build, Fresh to Home has taken like maybe 5 to 6 months to get such kind of a technology in place. I mean, build such kind of capability. And now we are going to get into what as AWS to do with this kind of an ecosystem. So I just want to showcase the AWS screen over here, which clearly says the amount of services, the number of services that AWS comes up with in terms of machine learning. And that's the core focus area for AWS too, right? So you do have specific segment-based. If you have a voice-based system in place, we do have Poly. If you want to have a image-based innovation that has been done, that's going to be recognition for you. You want to do a text-based, some sort of a innovative solution that needs to provide. So it's all going to be a plug and play mechanism for you. So those solutions which existed or which has been created for more than 5 to 6 months, adopting these kind of a plug and play services available from AWS, you can just come up with your solution maybe in 4 to 5 days, right? And you can have showcase this as your innovative product to your end customer and get all those business value created for them. And that's the kind of, I just took a screenshot of the complete AML solution that's currently available. In terms of if you are going to be a core data scientist, I can use a service like a SageMaker, which is going to equip you to get a platform in for your data science purpose. Now, if you're going to say, no, I'm not a complete data scientist guy, but I have a complete control or grip on my business, I know how exactly my business value is. We do have a product like Personalized, which you're going to feed in your data, and it itself is going to come back and tell, in case you're going to use such kind of a use case, this is the best possible algorithm where you can run in your use case, right? So that's the kind of built-in multiple services provided by AWS for your machine learning purpose, right? So moving on to the next part. So I'm not sure many of you might be an machine learning enthusiast who's attending this session. Not sure how many of you heard of this. In case not, I would highly recommend you guys to go and do a Google and search multiple videos from Bangalore to Chicago. That's would have been our dream, to fly from Bangalore to Chicago in 4 hours and spending $100, right? Sounds a little crazy for everyone, but yeah, I would highly recommend you guys to go and watch a reinvent video. Just search for Boom Supersonic. Within next 10 years, that's the kind of vision what Boom want to come up with, and more. No emission of any CFCs. It's all green emission that is being done. A clean environment as well is also key focus. And how exactly they do all those things? Data as a fuel. That's exactly the core innovation that they're bringing. Next innovation. I'm pretty much sure GPT-3, which most of you might be knowing it. In case not, that's how exactly our entire ecosystem is going to get changed. A product, an open source innovative product from the Tesla founder or Elon Musk baby, right? So if you have not seen this thing, I would highly recommend you guys to go and search for GPT-3. How exactly our existing life itself is going to have a twist with the adoption of such kind of an innovative world, right? So one thing before I wind up, the simple thing which I want to tell most of the decision makers over here is, there is a goal right beneath your ground, right? It's up to you how exactly you wanted to mine it, and then flex your muscles or show your capability in front of the world using those AI-based solutions for you, right? And to get a massive scalable, create a massive scalable environment, or create some sort of an innovative product so that you can be also termed as the next leader in terms of your innovative product. And that's exactly what I had. I will just hand over my listening to Avinash. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Shaji. So very interesting point. I think we are aspiring to go from Bangalore to Mysore in 4 hours today.
Right.
God bless India. So we should be able to make it, or 4 hours to Chicago. So good aspirations to have. Thank you. Thanks, Shaji. So last top-up sentences is that Rapyder can be a cloud-based system integrator for all the audience out there. Whoever is interested in doing a POC, they can get in touch with me, Avinash, or Shaji. We can showcase the demos of AI/ML solutions built on AWS, or even the ISV partners like Gnani and Singular Key. And we can make it a blend of solution, custom fit to your problem. And we can even do a 30-day POC, proof of concept, or a pilot program. So that can be done through Rapyder. That's our commitment. So should we run a poll now? What's the next scene? And can we have some questions from the audience as
well? Avinash, I passed on a few questions to you in the questions time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so there are some questions which have come. So there's a question from Mr. Balaji MS Vishwanathan, that how do you test, this question is to Anand. So how do you test against voice mimicry or voice duplication efforts?
So Anand, essentially, you do. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, so essentially, there are 2-3 things that we do when you do a replay attack, or when you do a synthesized attack, or when you play a recorded audio. So essentially, when you play a recorded audio back to the system, you look at whether it is coming from a speaker or it is coming from a microphone. So you look at those characteristics, which essentially tells you whether it is a live or audio that is coming in, or a played audio. Or when you're trying to do a voice clone, mimicry, it's pretty much easier to solve than say voice cloning. Again, for voice cloning, we have specialized algorithms that can detect whether the audio is coming from a voice clone system or it is a live coming from it.
Right. Thanks, Anand. So mimicry, I think, is a perception where it's more a person holding his voice closest to the syllable of, let's say, Rajnikant or Amitabh, but it won't pass through this system, I think. Yeah, Vinod Kumar Ji has asked another question again for voice. How do you enroll a voice even before registration? So I think there is an initial registration process, right, Anand?
Yeah, so essentially when I did the demo, the first message it asked me to enroll, and I enrolled my voice to my mobile number. That's the WhatsApp feed that I get. And second time to verify, it is already enrolled to the first audio that I said, and it is taking in the second audio. And again, it was text independent and language independent. So.
Great. So we can speak in one language like Kannada while enrolling, Hindi while authenticating, or English, mix of any language. That's fine.
Yeah. And you don't have to say the same words. You can say any words.
Okay. So yeah, next question is from Shubham Jangir again on voice. Does it handle only specific set of sentence structure, or any grammatical errors are also acceptable?
This is for intent, or for intent detection, yes. So essentially what we have is an ASR engine on the intent, right? So ASR engine
ASR is automatic speech recognition.
Yeah, ASR is automatic speech recognition. So essentially we have our own speech engines, which essentially gives you the transcription of what you said. From the transcription, you go look at, you have an NLU layer, which is again the way we have built our NLU is a BERT fine-tuned for multiple use cases. So essentially, you have the ability to detect entities and intent. So of all the things that you talk, the key things that are required for you to take an action is like the key parts of the audio, where you're talking of an intent and an entity in the context at which you're saying. So once you detect that, you go ahead and take the next action.
Great, thank you. So another question from Shubham Jangir. This is maybe to Rajiv from AWS, that in the forecasting solution, does it forecast well for long retail products also, which could have maybe just 1 or 2 SKU quantity of a demand per month at one store? Or the question also has a carrier that forecasting decision 0 versus non-zero, what is the accuracy there?
Yeah. So it can be used across any product category, right? Not only fresh produced products, it can be for the large appliances or maybe the smaller SKU combinations as well, right?
Okay.
And that's it. So the second, I didn't get it, Avinash, what 0 and 1?
Forecasting decision 0 versus non-zero, and what is accuracy in that? This is how it's written here, so maybe it's incomplete.
So I'll get back to this, right?
We will write back to Shubham Jangir. Yeah. One more question from Balaji MS Vishwanathan. So does the voice biometric system checks against trained voices and match the exact voice pattern?
So do you mean when you say trained voices, is it the enrolled voices
Mimicry,
or?
Probably.
No, Mimicry is much easier, as I said.
Much easier. Let's say recorded voice. I record Anand's voice and I play it back.
Yeah. So essentially what we do is like, to put it in a mathematical term, when you are playing a recorded voice, there are two systems that come into picture. One is a recorded voice from where you are playing it. The speaker functionality comes into picture, and the microphone which is capturing this recorded voice and pushing into your application. So you get two input systems onto your system. Whereas when you are directly talking, you just get a single input system that is coming into your system. So essentially, if you are able to model what is a single input microphone characteristics to speaker plus microphone characteristics, you detect whether it is a live voice or it's a recorded voice. So that is what we do. And that is a different layer. So essentially, the way our architecture is, it's a multi-layered neural net approach. So first is we see whether it is, one part of it is whether the voice biometric features correlate or cross-correlate to what has been there. But before that, there are multi-stage, multi-neural net architectures that come in. So one to detect whether it is a synthesized voice, one to detect whether it is coming from a speaker, one to detect, we also do some sort of breathing analysis in the voice. So essentially, this is where our patents lie. So and detect whether you are actually, based on your breathing pattern, you get to know whether this is actually pure play recorded, or it is a live voice that comes in.
Right. Great. Thank you, Anand. So one question from my side, I mean, this is not from the audience. So robotic process automation, we have heard about that a lot. Shaji, so is RPA a good example of blending AI ML tools, or this is totally different?
Is for me or is for Shaji?
Shaji. Yeah, I was asking
Yeah.
Shaji. Robotic process automation.
So it's slightly different use case altogether over here. I mean, there are services available in AWS itself for such kind of scenarios altogether. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rajiv, what is the uniqueness or strengths of AWS vis-a-vis competition like Azure or Google?
So see, for the machine learning, right? The machine learning is relying on the compute and storage capacities, right? And that gigantic need of storage and compute capacity can be fulfilled on cloud. And AWS is undisputed cloud leader. So the AWS offer the best of capabilities around storage and compute, right? The second is machine learning is also relying on the data, right? As
Right.
the majority of the workload is already on AWS, and the data is also on AWS. So data having the gravity, right? So it makes sense to put workloads on AWS because the data is already available there, right?
Right.
Third, to answer this, I could see that there's one of the skill set is one of the biggest barrier in adoption in AI.
Right.
Right. And
readily available workforce, you meant to say.
yeah.
Right.
So using the AWS services, someone who don't know machine learning can easily go and deploy the production grade workload in the environment in the AWS cloud. And also we are making sure we provide the right skill set trainings to the customers as well as a partner, and also building and delivering some educational instrument like Deep Racer and all to bridge that knowledge gap.
Great.
And at the last, I would say, right, as an Amazon, we have heavily invested in AI ML for the last 20 plus years, right? And also more than 1 lakh customer, we made them successful on AI ML, right? This is what can be
Amazing references. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, one question from Mr. Sagarlal Mahajan is, I think this is for Rajiv. Are there any use case of AI/ML from energy and utility industry?
Yeah, there are quite a few
Power
use.
distribution, maybe gas distribution.
So is that related to the machine learning you're saying, or it is for the Amazon forecast?
Either AI or ML. What are the? I mean, this is, I think, generic. So, are there any use cases? Maybe they're looking for use cases to adopt, let's say, AI or ML specifically for energy and utility industry.
Yeah, so there are a few use cases available, right, on energy and utility, right, and that are referenceable use cases.
Okay.
I can give you those URL, right, in detail, right. I can share with this customer, right, the detailed use cases available in this particular industry segment.
So I would want to add into that, Avinash. Essentially, we have automated the customer support for energy distributor, one of the largest energy distributor, where they could want to know about their bill, raise a complaint that there is no power, so on and so forth. Right, this is a government utility, and we manage their entire front desk for them, help desk, automated desk across channel of WhatsApp, voice, and email. So essentially, there is a first play or the first layer of AI that is automating these queries for them, and then it goes into their contact center. So this is one more use case of AI ML in the supply chain distribution part or customer support for utility companies.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for that additional input. Okay, so I think we have exhausted the questions from audience. If there are anything more, we can take it, or should we go to the poll? Dimple? Punit or Dimple? Okay, so So I think the polls have been visible. So thank you so much to the audience for sparing your time. We will definitely write back to you, and we definitely appreciate your feedback. And we'll write to you and seek your time if you're interested to know more about case studies from Amazon Web Services, AWS, Rapyder, or Gnani, and Singular Key. We would be happy to do demonstrations, specific presentations, or if you're looking for return on investment, some kind of tangible proposals or conceptual programs in your company or organizations, we're happy to do that. This was a great session. I mean, the AML is the buzzword right now, but these have pretty much come into open. If public discoms can do it, I think each one of us must adopt it in our own companies and organizations. So I thank all the panelists, starting with Anant, Shankar, Rajiv, and Shaji for your valuable inputs. I thank Rapyder team to help for having helped me conduct this complete webinar show. Thanks to the Rapyder sales team, and a big thanks to all our customers and supporters who have joined us in today's webinar. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.